Let's talk about choruses that have an odd number of lines. You know, the standard is to have an 8 bar or 16 bar or 12 bar, anything that's a multiple of 4 measure a chorus, but sometimes people will write a chorus that they've got their 4 lines, vocal lines, and then they throw another line on the end. And it can sometimes come across as awkward if it's not musically treated the right way. And I just had this conversation with a student. She brought in 2 different songs, and in both of them, her chorus had an extra line at the end. Now, she didn't feel like it was extra, but it was a 5th line. It wasn't working in one of the songs. So we kind of broke it down to why it wasn't working and figured out that the reason it wasn't working is because at the end of the 4th line, which is where you would predict the chorus would end, she went ahead and resolved it harmonically to the 1 chord. And so when you get to the end of that 4th line and you resolve that line harmonically and melodically, it's kind of like the audience is thinking, why are you singing one more line on your chorus now? So all we did was just change the chord at the end of that 4th line so that harmonically it suggested that there was still more to come. It wasn't quite done yet. And suddenly, bam, it didn't seem weird. The thing was, though, the chord that we switched it to was the chord that she was starting her 5th line on. So then we needed to figure out a new chord that she could use to begin that 5th line so that it wouldn't be the same chord hanging over. If you have a problem figuring out which chord to use, the first suggestion I would make is to take the chord that you're using and try the chord that is 2 notes down the scale from it, or a 3rd down. See if that works. That might work. But my point is, if it's the 1 chord, it's going to sound like it's closed and resolved. So try going to a 6 chord or a 3 chord or a 2 chord or a 5 chord. It depends on what's in your melody. 5 chord's the most predictable sounding open chord, but that's okay. Sometimes it's the right chord. Anyway, just remember, if you have a 5-line chorus, you may want to try making sure that that last chord at the end of the 4th line doesn't sound resolved. And that way, the audience feels like we need that 5th line and it doesn't feel left-footed.